Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in because today we are completely tearing down the curtain on something you rely on every single second of every single day. The core premise we're going to explore is honestly a little jarring, but it is incredibly fascinating. Here it is. Your brain lies to you, literally every single day. But here's the kicker. It's not doing this because it's broken or malfunctioning. It's actually doing it to help you survive. It's this deep evolutionary mechanism that has kept humans alive for millennia. But in our modern world, these ancient survival shortcuts often completely skew our perception of reality.
So let me just ask you directly, what if I told you that right now, at this exact moment as you're taking in this explainer, your brain is actively filtering information, changing your memories, and making some incredibly bold assumptions just to build your reality? The crazy, almost magical part about the whole shebang is that you don't even notice it happening. Your mind is like this master editor, working entirely behind the scenes to construct a version of reality that feels completely 100% true to you, even when it really isn't.
Okay, let's dive into this. We are going to take a guided tour through 5 hidden cognitive illusions. Number 1, the illusion of attention. Number 2, the illusion of memory. Number 3, the illusion of control. Number 4, the illusion of knowledge. And finally, number 5, the illusion of permanence.
All right, let's start right at the top with number 1, the illusion of attention.
Have you ever been so insanely focused on your phone that someone called your name like 3 times and you genuinely didn't hear them? Or, you walk super purposefully into a room only to completely forget why you're even standing there? It happens to all of us. Every single second, millions of pieces of information are bombarding your senses. If your brain actually tried to process all of it, you would instantly short-circuit. You'd just be paralyzed by sensory overload. So, to save energy, it actively filters out what it decides is unimportant. But sometimes it literally filters out reality. It creates this sort of tunnel vision where you only perceive the highlights your brain decides are relevant. This is exactly why 2 people can watch the exact same event happen right in front of them, but walk away with completely different details. One person might be totally focused on the tone of a conversation, while the other's looking at physical actions. Your reality is entirely boxed in by what your brain chooses to pay attention to.
Moving right along, let's tackle our second concept, the illusion of memory. Most people carry around this deeply held belief that their memory works just like a video camera. You experience something, your brain hits record, and then years later you just press play to pull up the exact footage. But reality? Reality is a stark contrast to that myth. Memory is actually a reconstructed story. Every single time you recall an event, your brain rebuilds it totally from scratch. And to fill in the inevitable gaps, it borrows from your current emotions, your active imagination, and whatever you've experienced recently. Think of it less like an archive of files and more like a live theatrical performance where the script gets tweaked every single night. That is exactly why siblings will sit around a dinner table and tell wildly different stories about the exact same childhood road trip. Neither one is lying. Their brains just rebuilt the memory differently based on who they are today. Your memory is not a factual record. It's a fluid story your brain just keeps rewriting.
Okay, number 3, the illusion of control. We all love feeling in control, right? It makes us feel fundamentally safe in a world that is pretty chaotic. So to give us that cozy blanket of safety, our brain forces connections between completely unrelated events just to create patterns that don't actually exist. I mean, have you ever worn a lucky shirt before a big exam? Or maybe you insist your favorite sports team only wins when you're sitting in one specific chair. Deep down logically, we know a piece of fabric or a living room chair doesn't change reality, but man, our brain absolutely craves that illusion. The problem is, leaning into this illusion leads to some pretty terrible decision-making. You can't control the weather, you can't control the roll of a dice, and you certainly can't control other people's opinions. The real game changer happens when you recognize this blind spot and start focusing strictly on what is actually real and in your grasp: your effort, your attitude, and your response. Focusing only on what you can actually water and grow, that is hands down the fastest, most effective way to drop your stress levels and navigate life.
Let's shift gears to number 4, the illusion of knowledge.
I've got a quick challenge for you right now. Try to explain out loud how Wi-Fi sends information through the thin air, or how a bicycle manages to stay balanced, or honestly, just how a zipper works. Be totally honest with yourself. Do you actually know the mechanics behind those little interlocking metal teeth? Most of us think we understand these everyday things perfectly, right up until the exact moment we try to explain them to someone else. It is such a humbling experience. The second you try to put it into words, that cognitive dissonance hits hard, and you realize you know way less than you thought you did. We just walk around surrounded by technology and systems, assuming we get them just because we use them every day. Well, this phenomenon is officially called the illusion of knowledge. It's basically mistaking familiarity with a concept for true understanding of it. Just because you've zipped up a jacket 1,000 times does not mean you know how the slider actually wedges those elements together. And this illusion, it's incredibly dangerous. It makes people profoundly overconfident. It creates massive blind spots. It stops us from asking vital questions. And ultimately, it just completely shuts down our ability to learn anything new. The absolute smartest experts in the world all share one defining habit. They gladly and quickly admit when they don't know something. Real intelligence isn't pretending you have all the answers. Actually, scratch that. Real intelligence is recognizing your own ignorance and keeping that willingness to continuously learn.
And finally, we arrive at our fifth concept, the illusion of permanence.
This illusion is deeply, deeply tied to our emotions. When life gets incredibly difficult, the pain feels completely endless. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. And conversely, when life is absolutely amazing, we feel like that high is permanent. Your feelings in the moment convince you that things will stay this way forever. But both of those feelings are complete illusions because absolutely nothing stays the same. Think about it. A student might fail an exam on day one and believe their entire future is just ruined. Yet months later, they achieve some unimagined success that makes that failed test completely irrelevant. Or fast forward to year 5, someone might lose a job and feel absolutely devastated, only to discover a way more fulfilling, better-paying career path by year 6. Seasons change, people change, opportunities constantly change. Life is always in motion. And remembering this simple truth, it really helps us stay incredibly calm and grounded during the hard times, and profoundly grateful and present during the good ones.
So, what does this all mean? Let's bring all of this together. We've seen that we are walking around with a lying brain. It constantly filters our attention, edits our memories, creates a completely false sense of control, assumes knowledge we don't have, and completely ignores impermanence. But here is the truly empowering part. The very second you become aware of these 5 illusions, everything shifts. It's like stepping out of the matrix of your own mind. You begin to think more clearly. You become way less reactive to the things happening around you. You become more thoughtful when you interact with others. And fundamentally, you become so much better at making decisions because you're finally seeing things as they actually are, rather than how your brain wants them to be. So, I want to leave you with a final thought to carry with you today. The next time you are absolutely 100% sure about something, I want you to stop for just a second. Take a breath and ask yourself, is this reality? Or is it just another illusion my brain has created? Because sometimes the biggest obstacle to seeing the truth isn't the world around us. It's the story our own mind is telling us. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking questions, and I will see you next time.